Nice, nice, nice. Okay, well, did you have time to play?
Yeah, I got in a couple of games. Let's see. Yeah, maybe like 10 in total.
I see you. I see you.
No, 8 games. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect, perfect. I think we can probably use one of those then. But yeah, anyway, tell me what are the recent things, recent concepts you've been practicing so far?
Uh, well, it depends because usually when I'm playing what like the comp needs most, right? So like some games we play Mercy, so it kind of depends. But I guess if I'm focusing on, wait, hold on. My dad just called. But I guess if I'm focusing on Kiriko, biggest thing I guess is like using wall climb a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I realized that my movement has been getting pretty decent, both with Lucio and Mercy, especially when I've been playing a lot, because then you get really like, I don't know the right, locked in. You have to say that, right? And really focused. Then you can do some crazy escapes. I've been trying to do similar things with Kiriko by, baiting people and baiting them with wall climbs. It's so funny to ankle break people, running around a corner and then like climb up the wall and then go back, like double back. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
But yeah, also
exactly.
like,
Okay.
yeah. So surviving that way, basically just using wall climb a bit more. I'd say that's the main thing. We also talked about like comms, right? So I've been focusing on doing that, especially with ultimates. I'd say kind of the same thing, like I have rush. Let's like use rush on main. Like when we get to like the pillar, let's use rush on main or like something like that. After Lucio bait, something along those lines, right?
Yeah, that's good. So
But I
just
have a bit of a issue though.
oh, okay. Yeah, what
Is
kind
that
of issue?
yeah. I'm not really like concise. Sometimes I'm not that concise with my comms. Like you can say Curious One, for example, but sometimes I don't know exactly what to say, and then I just start thinking, kind of like how I'm reflecting during these sessions, but mid-game. uh, that's not very good for like the chat because people need to listen for like abilities and footsteps and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no one's complained about it, but yet at least. But I know that for myself, when we're like five stacking and everyone's talking on each other, you can't hear shit, right? And I'm imagining that's the same thing when you're trying to focus in a game and your Anna is like giving a 30 like page essay on why she died to the flanking tracer, right?
Yeah, do you
So I
feel
don't know. So
like
that's something.
you talking a lot about just why the stuff happened? Or
Yeah, probably.
okay, okay. Yeah, that is yeah. It's a lot of times players have problems with that. Yeah, I think
Mm.
it's possible to work on that. Yeah, there are a few things you can be working on, especially if you have any of your comps recorded. I think might be just great to go over some of those. I usually do that if you just want to ever do something related to that, like the planning, the comms, and then it's great if you record something and then we can just go with that because there's a lot of stuff, especially dependent on just what your role for the team is, what you exactly do, what are they
Mm.
expecting you to do, because there are a lot of things you can be doing, and to be honest, all of the stuff you do depends on the team you with, and of course there's some kind of general ideas, but nowadays especially you can be more flexible, just find the players what they're comfortable with, usually divide the roles, but make sure the job is done. And all the planning, all tracking, all the scouting stuff is done, and it's usually okay. But yeah, concise, okay, yeah, understandable. Okay. So been running into that issue. Did you try to fix that? Just talking a lot about why that's happened to something related to that, or
Uh, Yeah, I have this like thing. I kind of fix it sometimes, like by just shutting up, basically, because I know that the only comms, especially if I'm playing flex support, the only thing I really need to be saying is like calling out abilities, calling out to someone's like one, like or like Ram can die or something, or Ram's anti, right? Something like that. I can say, but I don't need to like plan when I die and just like explain why the team strategy isn't working to everyone. Especially if there's like a vocal tank, then I don't do it. Like if there's a tank talking, I'm just listening to what he's saying and following his orders basically. Uh, Unless they're absolutely stupid. But
Yeah.
usually, if they talk, they know what they're talking about. So yeah, right.
Yeah.
For a master's diamond, at least,
Okay, I think that makes sense. Do you want to go over the comms a little bit more, by the way? Just kind of go over this. Even though we don't have comms, we can just come up with a few solutions to the problems. I think what I hear you saying, yeah, just specifically keeping an eye on what you're doing, right? Just communicating. Are you talking? Are you also talking certain abilities that can work? We can also maybe just talk about anything in addition. Do you want to do that real quick? You can just screen share the board if you want. Is it okay with you?
About what? Sorry.
Uh, the board. The board is just the place with the notes, basically. Like
Oh,
in
okay. Yeah,
school, you
yeah.
know, there's a board,
Hmm?
just a normal board. Okay, you wanna spend the time maybe on that a little, 15 minutes or so, or we can just use
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. Sure.
stuff you mentioned. Okay, so
I'll be
far,
taking note.
yeah, what do we just how we're gonna do it is usually on the one side is the problem, on another side can be a solution. Obviously, I cannot 100% know what is exact problem because I can hear the comms. So, if possible, if you have something recorded, we can go with that later. That's what I
Hmm.
usually do with the teams too, especially if I'm coaching someone. If we coaching the planning, then I have a session with the team and just talk about the stuff they need to focus on as a team, and then I do one-on-ones with everyone so they can fix their own problems related to the big stuff we talked about in to the team. Yeah, for example, the comms has to be, we always have to need to have a plan. Just something we talked about with you before. What are you doing, when you're doing that, and where? Yeah, if everybody's communicating that, perfect. But you can communicate that in different ways. It dependent on the role. There are a few specifics. Just keep in mind, right? So stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, so far let's just say the problem is we are talking why why you died. Yeah, it's just basically explaining the reasoning. Okay, and we mentioned your
Hmm.
solution has been doing what? You just kind of remind yourself about that. Well, there's actually, let's just do different marker because we'll need the screenshot. Okay, so your solution's been what I track instead, right? Or like maybe let's say I track X cooldown, maybe ultimate, yeah, let's say Y ultimate or something. That's what you've been doing so far, right?
Hmm.
Okay, okay. I also mentioned that you kind of just stop trying to stop talking if you notice that you're doing that, right? That's what you've been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Like
Okay.
if I spend like 10 seconds trying to explain something, I usually try to be more quiet after
Okay.
that.
Yeah, okay, okay. So I, to be honest, wouldn't necessarily just stop talking. Like whenever we're saying, okay, because this also might be the part of the problem. Talking about you died, but you also sometimes stop talking when just after 10 seconds, let's say. You mentioned that. Okay, there might be a few problems where you just might be not communicating the stuff you could be communicating. Yeah, like when we stop doing something, I don't think it's necessarily the best thing. What you can be thinking is just if you ever want to replace the bad habit you have, maybe this here, which is whatever you're gonna face, and just make sure you find something what's more helpful. Okay, I'll just put it this way: find what you can do, and this is important. Instead of stop talking, I want you to find something what are you doing and make sure this happens. Yeah, so find what you can do more helpful. Let's put it this way. Like anything, even though it's just gonna be 5% more helpful, then you can find it. This stuff is good. You mentioned, okay, I can be tracking this and that, cooldown, ultimate. Yeah, this is perfect. However, there might be a lot of other things. Okay, it just might be related to decisions, especially you as support. If you playing anything main support, especially just able to have a overview of the field, it's gonna be easy for you to see everything what's going on in the fight. So I definitely think there are a lot of things to think about. And to be honest, just another point how you actually know what to focus on is just make sure it's helping you to win the fight. Okay, let's just maybe put it this way. Make sure,
like back to win counts.
Yeah, sort of. Maybe you have sort of win con. Maybe there's also no win con at all. That's okay. But you need to find the stuff which is gonna be relatable to win in the next fight. Yeah, like if you're going in the next push, or the push is already happening, yeah, then it should be contributing to win the fight, right? And this stuff, when we talking, whenever you notice like why this is not good, yeah, just make a note of that. Is because you talk about past, okay, what happened, exactly what you mentioned, why you died, this is not helpful, and you also talk about the future, okay? So you might be talking, well, our strategy, yeah, we have to readjust this and that, and this can be partially good, but you have to understand if you're practicing something, then you have to make sure this happens instead of kind of having another goal, right? Just talking about how we can switch up the strategy if you already had one, right? And just make sure you're doing your best with all the info you got already. Maybe you've done the water review with the team. For example, you guys been saying, okay, we just wanna work on our brawl, run in together. You just 3, 2, 1, and make sure we're on the same target. Simple stuff, right? So a lot of times when we try to talk about the other more important stuff, well, other important stuff would be angles. Yeah, I do talk a lot about angles, but it's another more kind of more comprehensive layer. There also might be things like ultimates. There's also might be something else, right? And this might interfere your strategy already. What you got with the practicing? Yeah, you need to. Maybe let's just make a note of that too. Actually, you need to have a goal of what you practice as a team. And by the way, using game leader, actually this has to be captain usually, but I don't think a lot of captains good at this job too. But it's just like what the captain is all about. It's making sure you're on the same page. Okay, so if they remind you what is the goal right now, what are we doing, then this is also helping. Okay, but anyway, yeah, this is the problem about past talk or the future. I'll just maybe make sure I put it this way. Talk about past or future. Okay, so it's easy to understand. And what you want to be talking about is win the fight. Yeah, you need to talk about now. Yeah, like what is happening now. Maybe hear a lot of this also when you're just talking in real sports as well. Just what some of the. I think we also, let me see. Did we have the notes on that? With some of that, yeah, just effective practice notes. Yeah, kind of just focus on what you can control. Yeah, what are you doing currently? Yeah, this is partially the same talk, but you need to exactly focus on what's gonna happen now, which is gonna allow you to win the fight. This is good problem solving. Okay, but is there anything else you think you can be doing? Like, let's say, you exactly died to the tracer, okay? Maybe instead of explaining why you died to the tracer, there's something else you can be doing instead of stop talking. Because I don't necessarily think it's good, because if you stop making the action, then what the action you doing, right? And sometimes, well, a lot of times you can still find it. As you mentioned, find something what you can do more helpful, or what's more slightly more helpful at least. What's your thoughts? You remember any recent situation?
So what I was thinking was a recent game we had where I was actually playing Anna and I was getting over the Tracer. I noticed that the Tracer was always taking the same route to get to me. It wasn't like they were coming from different routes. It was the same flank every time. So I said like, okay, the tracer always comes up like the stairs,
Good.
like next to point.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
I just basically warned.
Yeah, and this is good stuff. If you can communicate any of that stuff, they have Axe position. They wasted or just used Axe cooldown. Oh, let's say Y cooldown. They also used ultimates. Okay, maybe they used something pulse bomb in our case. Yeah. That can always be helpful. So make it related to what's happening now in the fight and what will help you to win the fight later. And to be honest, your talking is going to be good. And maybe you can also find something what you don't have to communicate, but just do as your decisions after, right? There might be a few things you can readjust if you know that info. Okay, how I'm gonna position, how I'm gonna maybe use my abilities, maybe what I need to track. If I die to tracer, why that happens, but you well no well, okay, let's put it this way, why is not good, I think. It's just let's put it this way, what are you gonna do to just deal with the tracer next fight, right? It's just pressure them a certain way, maybe you can just talk them, scout information, right? When you playing, you just gotta keep in mind, you just need to play overall. Don't need to figure out why. Talking about why can be good. Okay, if you still, because you do wanna do that, but this here, okay, talk about why certain play happens. Okay, play happened. It can be good in what you. Okay, that's why you do that. You just do what you as a team, and after that, you can figure out possible solution. What are solutions? Our solutions. Let's put it this way. Okay, you might bring up this play. Probably you just want to bring up whatever is occurring the most problematic. You guys don't know how to deal with the dive. Maybe Trace is constant issue, Genji, whatever. Find the solutions. What are the good solutions? This is when Y is good. This is when talking about past and future can be good. But when you're in a fight, you need to talk about now, kind of. So in a way, of course, there's part shit about future, yeah, the next fight, but it shouldn't be, well, what if we could be doing this and that, and yeah, it's like not helpful, especially because you need to practice the goals. It's not productive scrim if you're switching up. I had so many teams where you just swap non-stop sometimes, especially newer players. They kind of just counter swap non-stop, and then there's no clear goal what they're practicing. They just playing for the sake of playing, like try to outplay something, but you need to find something you practice as a team, and it doesn't matter what comp you run as well. You just need to have certain matchup you want to try, test the theory, okay, go in and try to have a goal what you're practicing for that matchup, see how it works. You want to do some readjustments, sure, do it later, but figure out why you're also doing that and what have you, and this way it's more productive. Now, of course, I can say about your team, how you practice, yeah, how you're doing your water views. It's another talk, but yeah, I can help if you guys need, of course. But this is something. This is something what's important. No, what else do you think? Is there anything else maybe to add?
Yeah, actually, one more thing. It's about like changing strategies or suggesting that. It's like, when is it generally okay? This depends on so many factors, I know, but like, let's say that a good example. I'm playing Anna on Gibraltar defense, first point, for example, or yeah, first point, and they're playing like hard dive, and like we're getting dove a lot. Should I ask for a Brig if I find that? Because I really like playing with Brig, because they can like boop off the Winston and like keep me alive. That's really, I really love playing with Brig. But should I like ask after, like, should I first think, okay, what can I do? Like, can I just position closer to this team or something like that, or like rotate earlier?
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work, ask for or could we, Brig, or like the other support. Can you maybe play Brig if you know how to play her? Or should I mostly? Then this is just in normal, like the ladder. Or should I more focus about just, doing my own thing and the calming? I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to like support our win con
Yeah.
instead of getting other people to.
Yeah, exactly. If you playing in comp 100% focus on what do you do, performance
Mm.
wise, and you can make the swaps. Remember, I think there was a few sessions ago we talked about how do you swap. Yeah, what it's based on. Remember, how do you make the
Yeah.
swap? What are the variables? What's most important, most crucial?
Well, first, like you gotta realize what, like, why did I die and what could I have done better. I'd say that's
No, no,
like,
no. It's another thing. And again, why like you yeah, you also gotta figure
well,
this
supporting the
out
win con.
in well after the game, right? Ideally, it's because otherwise you will overwhelm yourself and you just be freezing. Yeah, like as I mentioned here, you don't want to think about past of the future too much. Okay, you just want to make the swap based on the triggers. Okay, what have been the triggers for us? Remember, what are the things you're looking for to make that decision?
I guess like our and the enemy win con.
Well, what WinCon is, what is based on?
Well, basically what the team needs, I guess. So if
Okay.
I'm playing something that doesn't support our win con and I'm getting like rolled, I can like start to think about what I prefer, like probably switching to something that actually fits better into the win con, or changing the win
Right.
con based on the enemy teams.
Do you have to get a
Purpose.
roll to make that decision to swap to just support the WinCon though?
Well, no, but
No, right?
yeah, you get what I mean. Like when you realize that, oh shit, probably playing uh, Mercy in Brawl, say, I don't know, with Reaper
Okay.
isn't a very good idea, for example.
Okay.
So instead I can play, and I realized that probably playing something like Lucio or BAP would be better.
Okay. 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 Yeah. So what do you mean by WinCon? I guess is your team composition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want you when you use this word, they are also multiple things. Like what win condition is, it's what your team composition doing because of just how it works overall. Yes, some fundamentals. Maybe dive works this way. Okay, brawl works this way. Maybe poke works this way. But also win conditions such as your ultimates, your cooldowns, your well, there can be some even sad plays sometimes. Yeah, like you do something creative in the scrims. That can also be kind of win con. Okay, we play for this anime. That's how win condition. Okay, so you like
Mm.
be yeah. That's ideally how the works. But yeah, basically you look at the team comp, and then you look at the map, and then you swap. Yeah, this is what you're doing most of the time. Asking about what your teammates doing in the scrims can be okay, but you have to make sure usually if we're talking about in scrims, you make the swap exactly based on those things too. Okay, we run this composition on this map, yeah, and versus this matchup. Okay, what do we play here? Yeah, maybe you have some set. Ideally, you can have a spreadsheet where you can just swap based on that, and you shouldn't make random swaps. Like, let's just get brick suddenly. Yeah, you should. Your captain, ideally, should say, okay, they have a dive from this point, and we really good at running dive as well. Let's go dive. Okay, so everybody knows what are the characters they run. Okay, so it's not
Mm.
just random counter, just play this character and never play it again sort of stuff. You know, it's just sometimes because people swap and they try to win that one match, but they never get the practice for the long-term goals, right? So it always has to be you make the swap, yeah, just say based on the same stuff. Team composition, look at map plus matchup. Yeah, and so what we run here usually for this. Yeah, a captain makes the call. You can influence the captain. You can say, captain, this, we usually run this comp. We like Brawl on Kings though, usually versus the other Brawl. Example, could we go Brawl? Maybe make a suggestion, right? So this is okay. But Why as well? Because there's some things you should be practicing in a scrim. If you run a dart composition on Kings or versus enemy brawl, then there's a certain reasons why. Yeah, what are you practicing is dive. You practicing angles. You practicing timing. Yeah, maybe you already comfortable in dive there. Okay, perfect. What are you practicing, right? But when you make suggestion to swap like that on one character, then that one character they kind of will not have a goal anymore, right? So they just kind of trying to, I guess, win counter something, but there's no long-term goal they're addressing because if there's a brick and they've been playing Kiriko trying to learn the dive, right? And how the scrim's helping them to accomplish their long-term goal, okay? This sort of stuff, okay? So there's a lot of work should be done as a team. Your goals, what are you practicing? Whatever you, okay, this is the big problem, whatever we gotta fix, let's go and fix it. The scrims are exactly for that. And after that, when you fix certain problems, you just get the play time, you play 100 times over and over, you fix something here and there, and you just can win tournaments, you can roll other teams, right? Just make sure you practice. Same as in competitive, right? Repetition, have the goal and go and practice repetitive. It should be okay in the long run. Yeah, does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so captain should make the call. For a lot of you can you can also request in general. Okay, in scrims 100%, yeah, those calls are good, but make sure it's structured this way. In a lot of usually I with this, but a lot of people they phrasing this in a weird way where they say, like, why you playing this character? Like, can you go this character? Right? This phrasing is not ideal because you tell them what to do. Okay, you need to phrase around what you want to do. Okay, so if you want a swap, if you want them to go brick, how you could phrase it? So you don't tell them you
like,
go, but what you want. Okay.
Probably I can say something along the lines of, I'm getting dove, like, is it alright if you play Brig, or like, are you comfortable with playing Brig?
You see, you did it
I don't know.
again. Well, it's good. It's good that you ask questions. It's better. I think this is good. Could you do this? I think questioning is good. Okay. You can just put it this way. If we ask to swap in ladder, okay, question is fine. Okay, question is good, but even better, just phrase it this way: help me do X. Yes, something. So you have whatever situation you have problems with. Okay, I have problems with Winston, and you ask some second support. Could you help me out somehow? Yeah, it's just and they will figure this out. Yeah, so you're not suddenly in power of telling them go do this or do that exact play because you also are we the most competent as well to do that, right? And is it also gonna be something they will be willing to do? Because a lot of players they be mostly defensive when you tell them what to do, right? You basically telling them that you in power, right? But you don't want to steal the power from them. You want to let them figure out stuff. Just ask for help. Help me do X. Okay, if they want to do go brick, sure, that's fine. You want to do something else? Okay, perfect. But you just ask for something and see what happens. It's okay. You probably don't have to expect that though. Like getting help. Yeah, you ask that, but it doesn't mean that you'll get it right away, right? So that's usually one of the best ways because I also remember if someone tells me something when I was grinding, for example, in Overwatch a lot, it's I get defensive, and everyone, this is how the player works. Yeah, I've been there as well. If somebody tells me this and that, yeah, it's just a lot of times not the most effective thing. People get defensive. So
yeah, especially the people who say like, man, you're 3 and 5, swap off.
Yeah,
and then you ask like, okay,
Yeah, that made me swap. Yeah,
yeah.
that was a TED Talk speech right there. You're being fine. Okay. Yeah, no, but you see that is not effective communication. There's a book actually. I don't know if you want to read it, but nonviolent communication. Perfect. You can read it as well. It's just phrasing the things around what you want to do. What are your needs? Let's put it this way. Yeah, and this way it makes it so much easier. So you don't
Mm.
put pressure on other people as well. So you just tell them exactly what to do. Yeah, you want to let them figure out stuff like we do in coaching. Yeah, and ask questions. Why? Because you can maybe figure out stuff on your own, and maybe come up with the more interesting solutions too. Of course, I can kind of tell my experience too, but mostly you need to come up with something. What do you want to be doing?
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Anything else?
About calming. Mm,
I'll screenshot
I don't think
this
so.
as well.
I think this is pretty good. Yeah, I think this is pretty good to start with at least. Wait, I'll check my the document. I might have a question about. I did have a question about tilt queuers. Like the people
Wait, come
as
again?
soon as you join the game, like
Teal
you know the
Cure?
people like yeah, no, the people are like
Oh,
they've lost already 3 games and then they're like the tilted as soon as they start playing, and then as soon as one is like off position or dies or doesn't do something, do you start like trash talking, and then like if you lost the first point and they start trash talking, you've lost the game basically.
yeah. Okay, exactly.
I mean, not
So,
not really, but like everyone's performance drops when there's some guy like calling, okay, wow, like nice one, hog, or like great anti, Nana, fucking retarded. Like we're not gonna win by that.
okay, okay. Well, what are your solutions been to that so far? What have you been doing?
I mean, I've been just trying to play like the Jesus figure, like. I mean, the worst thing you can do is get them to like tilt even more, right? You can't say like, okay, but you suck ass too. Like you gotta just say like if they ask, okay, if they say, okay, Anna, like you have like 2,000 healing or something,
Okay.
and they ask me to swap, I just say, okay, what do you want me to swap to, basically?
Hmm.
Like I just play, okay, you win. What do you want me to do so you're happy? That works best so far, I'd say, but
Okay.
they're still kind of tilted the entire game. But at least
Yeah.
like they don't get more tilted unless you fuck up again.
Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of. Do you want me? I'm just gonna put it this way. Do you want me to do X? Yeah. So put it this way. Yeah. Do you want me to swap to something? Yeah. Do you want me? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So asking questions. Do you find it's affecting you, your performance, when you communicate with those
Uh,
people?
uh, no, I mean I think it's personally I kind of laugh when they flame others because I'm happy it's not me and I've been there before. But if they start like flaming me, then I get really like annoyed. I don't like express myself on voice
Oh.
chat because
Okay.
that's just unnecessary. But like I get really annoyed and tilted if people, especially if people are saying like,
Oh. Okay.
when you get into like lower ranks and people they don't even know how a character works. And they say something stupid like, I don't know, lose your heal more or something like that. You should have healed me there.
Yeah,
And
of
they're like,
course. This is all about
yeah.
healing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was also a ball, so I had to tell him that like the point of ball is that you know the positions of all the health packs and you play around those. You're not supposed to rely on the support's healing, I think at least, especially not
Yeah.
Lucio's healing.
Okay. So the problem is, yeah, it's kind of getting you as well if they start flaming you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, might spend around another 10, 15 minutes on that. Did we use the thought? Did we talk about the thought model with you?
Maybe.
Okay. Just for the reminder, if you did, okay, the thought model is all about that. I usually use that for any stuff like that. It's the easiest, to be honest. Pretty structured. So when we
Okay,
when we
good
when
start.
yeah, well, it's only start. When we just facing this, whatever you facing with,
Mhm.
they flame me. Maybe they tell you, "Oh, Lucio, you do this and that. Yeah, can you heal me? Can you maybe do this?" Or maybe yeah, they're not happy about something. This is the fact, and that is something you cannot change. And
Mhm.
the thing, how it works, is you get certain thoughts after, and then you get certain feeling about that, and then you do certain action, and then you get the result. Just whatever happens in the game.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you use that model, you can break that down a little bit and just help yourself out to figure out what is more helpful action, like we suggested here. Just find, don't get rid of the habit. Just find what is more helpful, right? I mean, it's good to get rid of the habit, but you get rid of it not by stopping. Yeah, like maybe doing something what's even not the best thing to do. Yeah, you just find what is more helpful for you to do. So far, what I heard is a fact. Lucio heal me. Someone says, okay. I just say that. Lucio heal me. Can you do that? Right? And then imagine this in your head right now, and think about the thought you're getting right away. What been the
Mhm.
thought right away about that moment?
Probably like, what do you mean? Or something like that. Lucio is like about speed boosting, not healing.
Yeah, like Lucio is about speed, for example. Yeah, like what do you mean? Let's put it this way. Okay, it's good if you do it
Mhm.
by yourself later on. You can just do it with any factor piece. Okay. Now, what is that feeling you get after?
uh, Irritated, but also kind of like
Yeah.
kind of laugh at it because it's so stupid. But yeah,
Yeah, but you get irritated too. Yeah, you just want to
yeah,
find
irritated.
whatever. Yeah, whatever is not. Oh, whatever feels problematic. Okay, you might also maybe have the other feelings as well, but whatever is the most important, what's not helpful, find that. Okay, irritated, that's fine. Now, what are the actions after? What do you usually do when you get irritated?
Mm, Probably start playing worse, I
Hmm.
guess, or maybe
What are the exactly playing worse? What do you do worse exactly?
probably I get like more focused on like the comment than actually focusing on okay, what do I need to do to win
Yeah,
this game? So
yeah,
distracted, I guess.
yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, and anything else? Well, this can be enough too, but yeah, maybe anything else
Uh,
big.
I mean, if it's something really that really annoys me, I'd probably even say it in chat, not too aggressive, but more like explaining why that's just objectively not true, or at least that why that won't work. At least
Yeah,
because I'm
explaining
not smart
why.
enough to
Yeah.
know if it's objectively
Mm.
true, but like I can at least explain why not.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. And now the result is, well, maybe the game is lost, like I mentioned, right? Or it's just
Basically.
difficult game. Yeah. Let's put it
Hmm.
this way. Okay, let's say that's the usual stuff. Okay, game is lost. There's a high chance, at least, because we get irritated, right? Okay, now what you do with this is you do this model. This is the first step. We done just diagnosis, and we just need to go through that entire process of what happened. What is that fact which tilted you? What been the thoughts? What been the feeling, action, result? And afterwards, you just do that model backwards. Okay, you go here and look at the result. Whatever the result you want, well, maybe it's win the game. Yeah, maybe there's something else. Usually depends on your goal setting. Just what are the goals you're practicing for the session. That's why we exactly have those notes in
Hmm.
the summary. Yeah, so you know what's the good result looks like. I don't want you to win or to not lose. Like some people would say, yeah, just try to not lose. I don't know. So not the best. You need to have something positive usually, right? What you can get out of the games. So what do you think? How the good result looks like?
Uh, Winning the game, or probably like getting to practice one of my goals.
Yeah, there's
Probably.
even better. Yeah, I think even better. I'm just gonna put it this way. Or maybe not only practice, maybe I got better at X, yeah, because that's the most ideal. Something, maybe certain skill, maybe you practice communication, you practice angles, this is always the best. Yeah, winning the game is also nice, but not always gonna happen. Yeah, so don't wanna make sure base your success based on that, because you can have perfect game where you played perfectly, and there's thousands of games, you see even content creators where they play their best, they do their best, won the character, but they still might lose at the game. Yeah, there's a chance, yeah, of course, because they are ranked, there's lower chance when they do those unranked GMs too, but there's still a chance they can lose it. So yeah, it's not always based on, like, everything is based on you. No, there's also partially other external factors, but keep in mind what's based on you. If you know that, then it helps you to win most of the games later on. Yeah, long-term practice. So it's like the game is gonna test you. How are you gonna interpret those losses as well? Are you gonna get mad and then just queue again and lose more, or are you gonna are you gonna actually get the good feedback out of this and see are you just are you practicing and see what do you need to work on and such. Okay, but anyway, this is the result. Okay, getting better. Now you mentioned you're playing wars. Okay, focus on the comment, explaining why. Are there any more helpful actions you can be doing instead?
I think actually my first thought was to ignore the comment, but probably there's a reason that, like, there is a reason why. For example, he said lose your Himi, and that is because maybe the tank in that case played poorly positioned himself, and that means that instead of probably focusing on the comment itself, I should probably think about how I can prevent him from like writing that message again, i.e. keeping him alive. So, and that could mean adjusting my play style maybe, or
I don't know, but like
potentially.
you imagine you top find it. I've been okay. I've been in that situation. I'll give you an example. I've been top 10 on tank, and I've been doing a challenge, no microphone on. Yeah, there was like no mic. People told me, you can't grind, you can't get top 100 without mic, and I'm like, yeah, I sure can. And then I've been doing those games on Rhine only, I think, and I've been in plat lobby, and the mercer says, why are you doing this and that? Like, this is so bad, right? And this is where, like, based on your solution, like, adjusting my playstyle, right? Based on what they say. You see the problem with that now? Well, I'm not saying that, like, maybe you're not competent. Sometimes maybe they're partially competent, but is it always going to be the case, right? Are they always going to be competent to give you feedback so it makes you adjust the playstyle? That's my problem. See?
Yeah, I guess it's, yeah.
So
I mean,
what is
if it's
better?
just a Doom that's going in and diving all the time, I probably shouldn't just go with the Doom and dive with them. That's probably not a good strategy.
So what do you think then? What could be the stuff you do then?
I mean, I guess just continue like trying to focus, like shift the focus from the comment and then on the game, and realizing that okay, I just need to play well, play with my play with team, calm, and then we'll basically win, or we have a high chance of winning as long as I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. There's nothing more that I can do. I know, right?
Yeah, but they make sure it's more specific, right? So the problem is, play with the team or do whatever I want. Just find those variables so you can be focusing on the within the action. Yeah, what are you doing exactly? If your goal is get better at X, maybe it wouldn't be good if just to pay attention. How do I practice that idea? Even though they make a comment, yeah, Lucio is so stupid, but you're practicing. You're not healing or something. They tell you this, and then but you practicing exactly speed boost at all good times. Yeah, so maybe partially that's the reason why you're not healing, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, you see, maybe this is how you can solve that problem too. And in the match, you know what you're practicing right now, right? So if you practice that and shift the focus towards that. Yeah, isn't that helpful as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this way, for example. You can also look at the actions. What do you do with the comms? Not sure about that. Actually, I sometimes I'm not sure you have to communicate, because especially if your performance get lower, then this is not ideal. If you can communicate, well, fine, but it has to be also the way we talked about above. Yeah, make sure it's something valuable. Explaining them why, I don't know. You can maybe between, but I'm not sure it's good. If they're already in that bad state of mind, is it gonna be more helpful even if you explain? Yeah, it's just like there's a quote. The teacher will come when the student is ready. Like, are they even ready to listen to you? Are they even
Yeah.
are you gonna be teaching them, explaining, right? But if I explain something to who is not even searching, who doesn't care about that stuff even, yeah, is it gonna matter, right? So
Mm.
I don't think you have to. And don't think if they ask, okay, but why this and that? Maybe they genuinely interested. That happens, but rarely. In my experience, really rarely in the game. Usually, people would just get tilted. You explain them, they don't care about the explanation. They just want to, they just want to make sure they use those feelings to kind of attack you, go towards you. Yeah, because there's been those actions they've been doing all the time. They can just kind of trash talk other people, and that's how they, I guess, get their results, whatever they want. Yeah. So the goal is not to, it's not you who is causing the problem. It's just anything can cause them trash talking, basically. You're already in that state of mind. And
Mm.
there's big stuff too. All right. So what do you think is the solution to comms then?
I think just shut up, because a great man once said that you should never try to argue with an idiot, because they will pull you down to their level and beat you with experience.
Well, I can also say that it's kind of similar to that other my quote, that student, well, the teacher will come when the student is ready, right? It might, well,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing. If they don't want to hear it, yeah, that's on them. It's okay. Okay, maybe no comms, I think it's fine. Maybe you can mute the chat. Helpful. I personally had a lot of problems with the chat too, and being triggered a lot by stupid comments. I'm thinking it's stupid again. It's just the way I interpret. You can't have whatever fact you're facing. It's just the way we interpret things and the feel after that. Maybe because
Mm.
it's like in psychology, they would do like, maybe it's your childhood, maybe it's something else. But no, we don't care about that. We're not like psychology. Yeah, of course, this is important. You can also obviously do that in therapy session. I'm just using this coaching tool. Okay, that I'm not a therapist, so this is just
Mm.
helps out to break down all of that anyway. Now, okay, that might be the actions. What could be more helpful feeling we could have which supports those actions? What do you think? Maybe just feeling motivated, maybe, I don't know, anything. What do you find more willing,
Inspired.
inspired? Yeah, maybe this is good. Okay, we can put it on the list and see. You can again redo this by yourself, maybe find what's even more helpful. Yeah, inspired, motivated, I don't know, something. Maybe you just feeling happy, kind of enjoy the game. Yeah, I find when I enjoy the game, when I'm happy, I feel like my actions are better usually. If I'm really frustrated, tilted, that's gonna be tough most of the time. You're not gonna get good actions going. Yeah, so whatever helps you to get inspired. Yeah, the actions sometimes it can be, I don't know, for me it was a lot of the also the stuff you can do in real life, something. Yeah, the way you even sit in front of your desk, maybe you listen to music, maybe you're not. Yeah, maybe it's distracting you. Yeah, for me, for example, music was a little bit of a factor too. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, you can figure out like anything. I'm just gonna put it out there. Yeah, question mark, or what could help you, and
Mm.
this way you get the job done. Okay, inspired is good. Now the thoughts. This is about speed. What do you mean? Okay, now this is interesting part. What do you think could be more helpful thoughts when you're facing this? Lucio, can you heal me? Yeah, what are you doing? What are potential more helpful thoughts in that situation?
Same thing, but remove what do you mean. So, oh, Lucio is about speeding, so I should speed. Like basically the opposite of what they tell me. I think. Yeah.
Opposite what they tell you.
No,
It's always
I don't
gonna
know.
be the
But
case. So, rephrase it so it's something general. So like Lucio, why you do X something? Don't care what. Yeah, like how you can rewire yourself, rewire your brain thinking about it, so it's more helpful. I remember your result goal. What's that been?
for Lucio,
What was our end result? What are we achieving? The thought drives the result. Okay, eventually, if you have the certain thoughts, that helps you to achieve the result. Of course, it's not only like affirmation, tell yourself this and that. Yeah, exactly. We just also keeping in mind what do we feel and what do we do with the actions. Okay, so what is more helpful thought in that situation, which it gets you to that result? I got better at something. Okay, let's put it this way.
I mean, I guess that's just like reminding myself about the goals.
Yeah,
Like I
maybe.
can hear your voice whispering to me, "Support active angles."
No. Okay. Okay, sure. Well, if it's helping, maybe. Okay, I'm getting better at this. Yeah, maybe it's also I'm having fun. I'm just practicing comms. I don't know, whatever. Just make sure it's connected to the result though, because the thing is you can face multiple facts, different situations, and everybody, different people, they interpret in a different way. One man, one guy, maybe they get frustrated. Okay, another is gonna be happy because they don't care. Yeah, so one day that can be not a, obviously not a thought and another feeling triggered because of it. But the thing is why it's important to you, because your mind is like the same way as you when you play the game. You practice the habits. I tell you, okay, instead of stacking with your team, you take an angle. Okay, this is exactly what you do with the thoughts. You're not gonna expect your brain to like instant click like you do in a game. Just so try to take an angle. Yeah, it's not gonna click all the time. You kind of riding the road, and then sometimes because there's certain pathway on the road, right? It's hard for you to exactly go another way. But because you're exactly trying to do so over and over again, like with the angles, you're trying to take those over and over again, eventually you get to the point where you're not triggered about those. You're not getting irritated. So if you keep thinking automatically, okay, like I'm thinking about that, yeah, reminding, okay, and it gets you inspired, it gets you to do the better actions, and then eventually in a few months, maybe even in a month, you get started just better and at those situations, dealing in those situations, just constantly reminding yourself, okay, this can be your exact practice goal too. Yeah, you go in a game, remind yourself, okay, this happens. Yeah, this happens. I want to remind myself, what are my thoughts? Yeah, and this is exactly what the angles. You just because the way we react is the habit. You can reprogram, kind of redo the habit, make it different, and it will, which is more helpful to you if you're conscious about that. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Just find what is that though, what's more helpful, and then do that. If you're happy, that's what matters, because we definitely don't want to feel irritated over those, because it's not a deal, right? At least that's what you mentioned. Maybe some people love to be irritated. I don't know, but it's fine. It just depends on their goal. If they want to, well, they can keep doing those actions, right? But if it's not, then you gotta replace it with something else. Yeah, so this is the model. Okay, so again, the first step is you go over whatever you've been facing and just kind of diagnose. Okay, this is gonna be diagnosis. Find out what exact thoughts, feelings, actions you do, and this is the second step. Finding more helpful. Okay, what you can do instead of doing this, not doing it like 100% opposite. No, just find something what's slightly more helpful. 1-2% helpful now. Okay, perfect. Go in and do that, and then do that again. If you do that continuously, then there's inevitably you just get better at reacting to that stuff. Okay. So this, I don't know, you can do this by yourself. Maybe, for example, do this here and then practice for a month. Just remind yourself before every game what the thoughts you want to be focusing on. Maybe should get better this way. Of course, just make great adjustments, see how it works. If it's needed, yeah, maybe you can do this model each week or at the start. Later, you can do it last. But this is just the coaching tool thought model. Yeah, you can use it anytime. Yeah, does this one make sense or any questions?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive tool as well, but yeah, it's simple at the same time. You can write down a lot of stuff on here, so this is gonna help out. Okay, all the notes, I'm screenshotting this, and it's gonna be in our summary too. So I'm gonna call it SOT model, which is for any difficult situations like this, especially. Might be good. Okay, is there anything else?
No, not about coming, I think.
Not
That's
about
everything.
coming. Okay, I'm just gonna mention for later, if you can record the communication, I'm just gonna put it on the list. Record comms because you're currently screaming. That can be also one of the points we can practice. Just maybe use OBS and we can go over the comms. You can also, if one of your teammates are streaming, we can also go over their footage. It's okay, but obviously we'll hear your communication too, so that's what we'll focus on. We can focus on planning. That's all good. Okay, no questions about the coming. Well, what are the other questions? Is there anything else?
Okay, well, I have a super short question about coming, I guess, and I think that's the last question for now. I think.
That's okay.
And that is just that there was one game on Esperanza where I was playing Lucio pretty decently, I'd say, and I was like calming out when I cancelled abilities. Like res, for example, if I booped, Mercy away from res, should I even calm that? Like, is there a reason to say, okay, I canceled the res?
That's good stuff. Yeah, why not? You talking about the abilities, like we mentioned, they use this cooldowns. This is good stuff to talk about. Why not? So everyone knows that there's no res. I think this is good. Obviously, a lot of times you might, because this is more defensive cooldown, you might be reminding players again because somebody will scream, but they have res. Yeah, like make sure that you kill the Mercy when there could be more important targets. Which Mercy is a good target, but maybe they are more important too. So you just tell them, oh, they use res, right? Just one more time, maybe. This is good stuff. Why not? Yeah. You don't have to call the I boot Mercy so they don't have res. Don't have a res. Yeah. Don't communicate what you did. Just because you're talking about the past. Yeah. Like this exactly this. You don't talk about what it did. You just talk about what happened, how it's affecting the fight. Well, just now. Yeah. They don't have a res. Perfect. That's pretty concise. Okay. Now I know it might be challenging to work overtime, but the more you do these, it's gonna be, to be honest, should be all good in the long run. All right. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
All of this here.
No, I think I might have a game we can possibly look at if we have time, but
yeah, of course, we have 30 minutes, I believe. Yeah. Well, yeah, I know we spend most of the time on talking, but yeah, it's all good. I think this is important too.
I guess I have a game here. Shambali. That was. Oh no, that's with Mercy though. Okay, maybe not. Let's see. I haven't played a lot of Kiriko. I'm just noticing that.
That's all right.
Here's one game with 50%.
That's all right. If you want to do Kiriko as well, it's all good. We can also do that.
Okay, I've played Kiriko in total 18%. Let's go.
Oh, nice.
Well, I mean, we could look at that game on, I think it was Ilios. Or we could look at another game.
Well,
Or
up
we
to
could
you.
do a.
What are your goals for today? What do you want me to go over? Who's the yeah? Who's the review?
I have to think because maybe we could go over some target priority or no something. Oh, that's Snicker. We could go over that game actually because I think there's a bit of positioning issues because I had 6 deaths on Mercy, which I probably should not have. So we could go over that probably.
Yeah, all up to you. Yeah, we can definitely do that. I believe the last session, at least based on the notes, was some of the Kiriko stuff, and there was a session before on Anna, but the last one was on Kiriko, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
Yeah,
use
that was
tilt usage.
mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We basically talked about like I need to use like calming, and I need to use like wall climb a lot more. I think you mentioned something about that. I should like be prepared to, because if I know they have like flanking characters, because Kiriko likes to flank, I should be prepared to be able to like fend off any other flankers.
Yeah. Ideally. So there's two things. We can either just go over the game real quick because, as I mentioned, you practice the concept. We can just take a look and see how you do that, and then we can also talk about anything else in addition. Especially if you play Kiriko a lot, I think that might make sense. Or yeah, if you want to do something else, that's okay. You want to talk about the Mercy, sure, but you can also quickly look at the previous stuff and then also just add data points to our previous summary.
I think we might have to do Mercy because I only have 1 minute of Kiriko play time.
That's all good.
I mean,
Yeah, we can do Mercy. Yeah, we can do Mercy. Okay. Yeah, just send me the
code. Send you the code.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm watching your stream.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I just gotta do something. Yeah, okay.
Okay, can you see the stream?
Yeah, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, because like I said, I think the biggest issue in this game was probably because the first thing I noticed when I look at like the overview, I don't know what to call it, is that I had 6 deaths, and I mean I know it depends, but generally speaking, Mercy probably shouldn't have that many deaths when the other support has like 3. So I think it's something about positioning that's like probably like super jumping in front of their hit scan or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe because I think I target or I damage boost the Farah too much, possibly. Instead of like supporting active angle.
Okay. Well, what was the reasoning to run the Mercy here in the first place?
Well, they asked for it. So I thought, okay, why not? It's ladder. Maybe they're good at the Farah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Pharaoh asked for Mercy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, by looking at the comp, who do you think is suitable as well? Just what we talked about before.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It's a kind of weird comp, but it should work. I can damage boost the Cassidy, I can damage boost the Farah, and the Kiriko also. She's on a flank. It should work.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty decent. You should be okay, generally speaking. This comp is exactly more poke-oriented. Mercy is really good. You have long sightlines on this map, so nothing's stopping you, to be honest. So this is good. Okay, let's keep watching. Alright, help the far out. She died there, kinda. Okay, we... that's where... This one is interesting. So, we're supporting the cast here. And then there was Farah flying to the left. Which you mentioned, and I probably agree. You most of the time, you probably want to be supporting either cast or the Farah. However,
Mm.
what do you think about your position? When you're trying to just support those angles, is there anywhere else, so like this place is fine, where it could be, you think? Anywhere else to be able to support two active
Bottom high
angles?
ground.
High ground where? High ground here on the
Bottom, I
bottom?
think.
Here? Let's call
Yeah,
it A.
potentially.
Yeah.
Because I can, yeah, because I can play against a wall. I can still. I can probably not support the Cassie currently, but like I have both view of the team, so I can fly away to safety, and I can also fly to Farah and then fly back, so I can bounce like bomb from point.
Yeah,
Let's say point.
yeah, exactly. That's what you will notice a lot. Oh, sorry. That's what you will notice a lot with the positioning. Whenever you exactly know what kind of angles you will be supporting, then you just need to keep in mind that you have to be between the active angles. You just need to find a certain spot where it's more convenient for you to be able to do that usually as a Mercy. See, now we just kind of on the main here and you're trying to catch up with the Farah. So she is supported too, but it might be easier to do if you're at one of the spots. I think at the start, even in the middle of the point, is not too bad because you got some picks there. But we can also go on the bottom, like I mentioned. Yeah, maybe I can also, I don't know, do super jump to the high ground or something, but find the options. So it's gonna be easier, because this what might also make it easy for you to just make them, help them to stay alive. Let's put it this way. Okay, does it make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's positioned between active angles at all costs, and you already mentioned what are those. So this is already giving you good direction. What are you gonna be doing? Okay, let's keep watching. Yeah, this is fine. You just have to support anyone who is active. Yeah, Farah's flying up. Maybe you can support them a little bit, and then Cassidy's dead. Have to reset a little. There was nice little angle on the right side, why not? You can just support some of the attention, and should be okay. Probably will die though at the end, so there's not much to do. Okay, your Farah is dead, let's see. Walk forward. Well, not much you can do about this. Alright, supporting the Cassidy makes sense. Now this, however, is a little bit more interesting because, of course, we want to be positioned between active angles. Okay, you support that, just support activity. You can have this one as a part of the medal. Okay, but at the same time, you also need to disable their activity too. As a Mercy, you can't do much with the pressure, because you don't have nade, you don't have any damage, like on Zenyatta. Maybe you can put some pressure on the Mercy. Most of the stuff what you have is your movement. Okay, so when we talked about disable the activity, the first part is the scouting. That's what we probably touched with you on the Kiriko a little bit. Okay, if you look at the enemy team, what are potential angles for you to be aware of in general? What do you think?
Well, now we know in foresight at least that this lane that I'm currently in is occupied. But also they could come from main. They could come from above the wall. I think that's a Genji. Come over the wall currently, or
Yeah.
no? What is that? Lifeweaver. Yeah.
Well, there's, I believe there's a Kiriko. Yeah, above the wall.
Oh,
but
Kiriko. Oh,
Lightweaver
sorry. Yeah.
is inside. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think that's mostly it, because there's like the whole in the middle. They can come from main, and they can come from where I'm currently at. So the right, the middle, and the left.
Okay.
So yeah, this was mostly because I was just like hyper focusing on keeping the Cassidy alive and also
Yeah.
trying to keep myself safe.
Yeah,
So
exactly. This
that's
is
why I
the
like
hardest
jump behind the
part.
wall.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of forgot about how do you disable the activity too. You go see that guy, if he able to anticipate who is threatening, right? That might be Kaz Genji, maybe Kiriko, sure, but how can you support your teammate while not being exposed to them? So right now, if you exactly knew that there was there, what is the play? What should you be doing? And they're also blading, keep that in mind. So what is the play here?
Mm. Wait, I've never realized there's a high ground to ride. I've never seen that before.
You're talking about
Uh,
this here?
yeah, I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah. Well, you can possibly be there, but yeah, you think go there?
No, it's too far away to.
Far away, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because probably right now both of them are hugging the wall, and that's why also I get stuck on that side because I lose the guardian angel. Well, I'm
Yes.
gonna die anyway because there's a Cassidy, but I lose the because they're hugging the wall. So especially if I was on that high ground, I would not have been able to support them. So
Yeah.
probably going down back to spawn could have worked because then I'm at a safe distance. I can still like support them,
Kind of.
like a bit further back. Because going left, I mean it could work, but then I don't think I should stay left.
Left
I
is
can
decent.
fly
Yeah.
left. Yeah, I can fly left, but I will probably get pressured out, so I have to like fly over and fly back somewhere, possibly
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
a triangle. So go to the left and bottom.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. Yeah. And generally speaking, if you exactly know though, those guys on the right, I think left is definitely not too bad to even commit to, but yeah, you can definitely do some of the part left, then decide, or just do go there. But you do it partially because of anticipating. That's how you don't die. And it's not bad that you get pressured. It's just you exactly know what you're doing with your actions, so you expect to be pressured, so you stay alive, right? So I can try to maybe even do super jump, go up, and I stay here and use this as a cover and just kind of quick, well, just fly in the air. That's okay as well. Those guys not gonna be able to see me, but maybe you expect some pressure. Maybe Cassidy will get to shoot me, but it's gonna be much easier for you to break line of sight because of the way you position, right? So this is just partially feels
Mm.
anticipation. Scout, see what you gonna do after, right? So this way you can stay alive, especially if talking about the mercy. It's not bad to get pressured, but just make sure it's with intention. You know, those guys will be pressuring me. What do I do after? How do I position? Yeah, like this guy's on me, right? What is my action when I'm supporting this active angle, especially? You're like, how can I position? Especially if you're aware that Genji's on the right side. Okay, what is the play? What should I be doing currently while supporting the most active angle? What do you think? What is the play right now?
Well, not going there. I kind of messed up there, and that's why I kind of give up even when he started attacking me because I know I was dead. There's no one to fly to. Um, yeah, I don't think flying main is probably good. I could just continue with. I mean, I know the Kiri and the Ram are more active,
Yeah,
but still, the Pharah is currently shooting, so
yeah,
probably just following the safe route with Pharah would have worked better.
yeah, exactly. And again, you use the same principle with position between active groups too. You don't have to fill up with a gator to be stuck on main. Just make sure you support two groups. From here, you also will be able to support this group too. So I think this is fine. You support in the far. She's more active to be honest too, because this sideline, this is where she gets pressured. Right now, those guys are not
Mm.
pressured. It's not like they're not, well, maybe Ram is a little bit more active, but he's a tank. So it's not the priority for you. You should be putting emphasis on the fire anyway, right?
Mm.
And it's exactly partial because you know that this guy's there. Just make sure you follow. Okay, the activity and how do I position to support my activity too? You should make it much easier. Yeah. For example, here you on the fire. What angles are gonna be aware? I don't know. There's a Doomfist, Cassidy, is coming back, especially when Doomfist ults. I think you gotta be careful about that. And see that Cassidy in the left room. Okay, I know that. You gotta be careful about those guys. Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I think
This
he was trying to
attacker.
reset there.
Yeah. Right after the res. You know, Genji's on the
Hmm.
right, Cassidy's inside the building. Okay, let's just watch. Trog that again. What is the play here? Support your active angles too. What do you think?
Or far is really low too.
Yeah.
I could probably stay around the corner at the bottom and support Cassidy, and then first probably maybe not heal the Farah, but I could probably support the Cassidy.
This is fine, right? Just kind of keeping attention on
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Okay, and then how do you position for then? So again, keep the corner. Yeah, that's what you mentioned.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe this is fine. I think, but definitely not this. If you know the gas is here, so this is a more mid range. You're exposing to mid range, and there was a Genji who is short range, who you technically fly towards. Yeah, it's maybe not the most ideal. If they damage you though, of course, you gotta be mindful, but at the same time, what I'm gonna do with the jump, I don't know, maybe go above this here. Do super jump, go above, so you cutting off this sidelines completely. You don't want to be exposed to that stuff here.
Yeah, I'm noticing a pattern, and it's because because the reason why I flew away was because of the Genji pressuring me.
Yeah.
But the panic of the Genji pressuring me because I can't die in this fight because of the time, yeah, the Lucio, I don't get the point. I don't get to do anything, so we can just skip this.
That's okay.
Yeah, but like I forget about everything else because like there's a Genji right clicking me, and I'm at like probably 50 HP or something, or 100 HP. I'm just trying to get away from that, but that might leave me exposed to the Cassidy, right? But I don't think about that. I just want to get away from the danger, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I
Oh my
want
god.
you to be thinking then this way, where you're not getting away from the danger, but you are doing something with intention. It's either I support or I disable activity. Yeah, how do you disable? Well, scouting is another part, but maybe put it this way: what resources I can bait? Yeah, so it's not avoiding the dash or something, but more actionable. Yeah, actionable goals, because this is what happens. You're trying to not be something, to not do this and that, and then this exact thing happens. You die because you try to avoid the dash, actually, right? It's kind of like a quote on, if you're trying to not think about the white elephant, you will think about the white elephant. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
same thing with the actions here. It's just you probably will get to do that action when you're trying to not think. There's your brain, especially when you at this moment is so fast paced. You might exactly do something what's not the most effective. You just want to find actionable stuff you do in the moment.
Sounds like you've been reading Atomic Habits.
It sounds like what? Sorry.
Sounds like you've been reading Atomic Habits.
Well, not really, but a lot of the similarities, I guess, that a bunch of other books as well. I know this guy. I think, but I've been not reading. Yeah, I've been not reading. Did you? Did you read it?
No, my brother did though, and he explained some things for me.
Yeah. Well, you might find that the more books you read, especially if they kind of from the same category, there are a lot of similarities, a lot of connections to how we work and just how the stuff works a lot of times. Yeah, like all the pieces of the puzzle. So yeah,
Mm.
it's fine though. Yes, trying to stay alive. There's a Doomfist, Genji chasing us. Supporting Pharah is definitely, why not? Okay, afterwards, the Pharah gets an angle, and that's where you gotta be aware. Yeah, well, where's the Cassidy? Where is the Genji? Where's the Doomfist? How can I maybe bait something? Yeah. Exactly. See, you actually managed to stay alive too, because I think you've been aware that this guy is coming. You've been not even trying to fly away. Yeah, you kind of stay in the angle and try to bait the stuff by using the movement. Yeah, see, this looks much better now, I think. Yeah, kind of down a little bit of movement, went up, and this guy now cannot stay. That's what you want to do most of the time, ideally. Well, I don't want you to exactly stay, but most of the time try to think what are the more things with baiting, suit the position, suit the decisions, cooldowns you can do. Should be easier, I think. Okay, this is kind of my short overview on this, yeah, because I'm mostly focusing on why we dying, but I hope that stuff is helpful. Anyway, how would summarize this? What do you think?
I'd say it's kind of going back to previous sessions. Like I think in the first.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's alright.
It basically goes back to like the first session, which was about like take damage. Not be afraid of receiving pressure. That like some amount of pressure is good because that's pressure that's not directed to your like DPS and tank or other support, and also about supporting multiple angles, like trying to find the middle ground between two active angles or maybe three, and also basically the new thing is also about not trying to think about how do I survive, rather what cooldowns can I bait. Kind of like what I did with the Genji here, where I kind of stayed in place and just used my movement to like juke him. Because then he wasted Swift Strike, whatever it's called, and then he had to get away. While I didn't die. I kept supporting my teammates, and the Genji has to like retreat and go back. And that is better than, okay, no, there's a Genji diving me. I'm gonna fly into main in a straight line towards a Cassidy, right?
Yeah, because your thought process has been how to avoid the Genji instead of what do I do, right? Make the goals more actionable. What to do instead of thinking of what not to do. Yeah, really important. Just actions right now. Yeah, I think this is great. Okay, anything else to add?
I think I've forgotten something. Oh well, okay, yeah, of course. Also about like keeping track of where everyone is, because that goes hand in hand with figuring out, okay, what cooldowns and what can I bait. Also, because it's great if I can bait cooldowns, but it's not so great if I super jump in front of a Cassidy. So I need to make sure. You talked about that before when I played Ana, like thinking, where's the Pharah, right? If they have a Pharah, I haven't seen her. Where's the Widowmaker? Where is she? Where's the Lucio? Where's the Tracer? By using that thinking, you can realize, okay, he's not main. He's probably going on a flank because it's a Tracer, let's say that. Or in this case, it's a Cassidy. He's trying to find an off angle or something. I don't know. Or brawling with the team. So I need to realize where is he, and that I shouldn't fly in front of him. Basically, just like play around that. Yes. Play around that. Stay where I am if I can. If I get pressured out, try to bait and then fly away. I guess.
Yeah, I think this is good, man. You can even anticipate on your team too. Just who is gonna do what. I think for the most part been good, but you're also gonna keep track on how to position to be able to go between those targets. So you can see activity left, right. Okay, how can I position between active angles? So this way it makes it easy for you. Find creative ways as well, and should be alright for the most part. So you can move on the map, so it will be easier. Yeah, I think this is good. This is good stuff. Okay. Any final questions for today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. No questions. Okay, if you're gonna
Yeah.
have
Oh
any,
wait, no question.
yeah,
I did record this, right?
yeah, of course, everything's
Oh, thank
recorded.
God.
Yeah. Do you? Are you also fine with me pausing parts of the session? I think that was good. The first part, especially on the mentality, or do you want to keep the private link?
No, no, you can post it. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Okay. Then I will just send the recording to you, and if there are gonna be any questions later, as usual, let me know. The summary, I'm
Mm.
also sending it of what, yeah, all of our notes on SOT model, the other effective practice stuff we talked about, yeah, dealing with teammates, some of the scrim stuff. Yeah, all the notes are in the summary too. I just made the
Yep.
screenshot for you, so it should be good. Okay,